it's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show. Every day I listen in. We're gonna talk about what's going on in town. You never know who's gonna come around on the Mark and Cindy show. Well, it's Mark and Cindy.
Good morning, Montgomery County and all surrounding areas within the sound of our voice. It's just exciting to be on the internet because you can go everywhere on the internet. It doesn't have to be just one place. And again, I must, warn you or tell you that Mark is not here today because he's still on that project and that he'll tell us all about when he comes back on Monday. But we do have a very special guest with us to banter around and to make you aware of that it's never too late to change course, and it's never too late to do what you want to do. And when you're doing what you want to do, it probably makes you feel a whole lot better about all the work you have to put into it than things that you just dread having to get up and go do. So we're going to talk about that with Kyle Hutton, who actually is here sitting right now, and you on YouTube just coming in like, wait a minute, Mark looks different than he did yesterday. He's even better looking than he was yesterday. I don't get it.
Is that a jab at Brett?
Oh, man.
That's a jab at Brett.
It exactly is a jab at Brett. So Brett, you're listening. You've just got so many good qualities, but your name I just had such a hard time with. And so I've got to remember that face forever. And so I'll remember his face. No, he's very good looking and so funny. And he was a great guest yesterday. But today we have Kyle Hutton, and he's with you've named it, Real Life, Real Music. And
That's it.
You're not with it, you are it, right?
Well,
you are the man.
We've got a lot of people around. I like to look at Real Life, Real Music as kind of a community. And it's got a lot of people involved.
Well, we are all about the community. And when you walked in, Richard, and you just bumped fists so quick, so I knew you knew each other. And you've been on the show before?
I have. And you know what? The funny thing is, I forget that we're on the internet. So if people were tuning in during the intro, they saw me spit out my gum into my napkin. So
Well, and if they missed it, they can certainly go to
rewind
YouTube
it and watch it,
and watch it on YouTube later, probably this week.
Yeah.
We'll choose a best of, and if you want to enter that category,
Perfect.
That'll be great. Okay, so anyway, we've been talking about learning something new every day, and this is great because Brett used to be in a really exciting field. Why he ever wanted to get out of it, I don't know, but Brett used to be in the insurance field.
Oh,
You sold insurance.
I did, but I'm Kyle, not Brett. So I'm that's
Did you get
that's
that?
all right.
You didn't even
That's
get it.
all right.
Right.
I love it.
I really thought she was talking about yesterday.
I love it. I thought she was talking about yesterday's guest too.
And I
was.
was like, I don't think he was
I
in
love it.
insurance.
I was, y'all. I was
Look,
just testing.
we'll just say my
I was
middle
just
name's
testing
Brett,
you.
just for you. My middle name's Brett.
We had
okay?
this big conversation before we went on the air that I could not remember Brett's last name or try and say his last name all through
Kyle
the show.
Hutton, Kyle Hutton.
And now Kyle. And I told Kyle.
You guys need those little name tags. We put our names with Sharpie
That would
and
be
stick it on our shirt. That would be
Richard,
awesome.
What I really
So
want to do is put up an
humiliated.
LED scroller on the
Hey,
wall.
I've got my Josh Ward hat on. You can call me Josh next. How's
Oh,
that?
now I'm really messed up. Why would you do that to me?
I love it. I love. Okay, so let me tell you this is
Kyle.
funny, but you're the segment you learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
My dad.
Your name is going to be the new thing I learned today. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no kidding. You learn something new every day, Mary. My dad used to say, like, if we do something like really dumb, I mean, just something really stupid growing up, and then we, go, oh man, I guess I shouldn't do that. My dad's sarcastic remark would be, well, you learn something new every day,
Yeah, of course, that saying's been around like forever, but you really do need to do that for your brain's sake, right?
You do.
And then sometimes for the joy of your life, you need to learn something new because you're not happy where you are. Then start learning something new that you really would like to do. And your passion was music, right?
Yeah, music.
Well, tell us about insurance first. I do want you to talk about the insurance.
Yeah,
field.
sure. Well, and when I say insurance, that can be a little bit misleading. I was a partner in a consulting firm in Houston, and we were engaged in helping people keep their insurance costs down by keeping their workers safe on the job. So really, I was more into like the safety and health of the workforce.
Okay.
But the primary, outcome of that, when you keep people safe, is that not only do you send them home with all their fingers and toes at the end of the day, but
Right.
you keep some of the operational costs of doing business down.
So you were in corporate, in a corporate
I was
situation.
in the corporate world. I was wearing starch shirts and coats and flying all over and meeting with companies and doing kind of a standard. And let me tell you what, it was great. I mean, and being in radio, the value of extemporaneous speaking ability and all that kind of stuff. And I got about 15 years of training in that.
That is great because, you picture when you say, I'm in insurance, they think of you as a salesman.
Yeah.
And they're afraid of you and they want to stop the conversation probably immediately and have something else to do. But since you were in that confined, type of corporate, you really didn't get too jaded right from that other stuff or tainted.
My background coming into the corporate world was in sales and did well enough in sales to get asked in this company to become part of the more global part of organizing the company and helping lead the company. So I had the opportunity to learn not only the sales side, but then, kind of the operational side and how do you run a company and how do you try to not run all your good people off and, how do you keep your clients and all that
what
good
was
stuff.
it? I mean, everything you just said was enough to make me go like, okay, I got to get into something else. But what was it that you really just like the last straw that said, okay, I've got to start doing something I really love?
I never stopped doing music. Even when I was in the corporate world, I put out 3 full-length CDs.
Really?
I was playing shows on the weekends and that kind of stuff. And basically what happened is after our third son was born, I had taken a break from being out on the weekends and supporting the newest CD project. And I was getting opportunities to do things like record with Lloyd Maines as a producer. And so I was trying to do music at a high level while the corporate thing was also requiring a high level. And by the time you have your third kid, if you want to stay married, you better be at a high level at home too.
Amen, brother.
Right.
Amen.
So
yes,
so kind of,
right.
What happened was I found myself, I felt like the circus clown spinning the plates on all the poles, and they were starting to fall, and really, I just had to make a decision. I wasn't going to be able to do all of it anymore, and so I had to make a decision. And my wife and I had to get on the same page on the decision of do you walk away from the security and quite frankly, what typically, like when I was in college, if I could have pictured the life I was living at the time, I would have said, that's it. That's what I'm going after. That's what I'm supposed to do. It's the security of the American dream, and in some ways for me personally that was happening, and so there was a time period of really going, okay, are we really gonna walk away from this, and or am I just being crazy to first of all think that I was put here to do something else, and then number 2, am I going to walk away from what feels like a sure thing,
right,
and jump into something that undoubtedly is not a sure thing?
Now, was your wife happy about this in the beginning, or did she?
I'll put it this way: we had just built the house.
Oh no!
Right?
Oh no!
Just had our third kid.
Yeah, and she's looking like everything is so perfect.
Yeah. I kind of came home and I kind of ran over the white picket fence. No, I remember walking in one day after work, and I just said, it was about 6 months after we'd moved into our new home, and I said, I can't do this anymore. And she said, yeah, you can. Get that briefcase and go back to the office.
Well, I was wondering if she first said, "What are you talking about? The marriage?"
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
So it was, and then literally from that point to the time that I sat down with my business partner and said, "Look, this isn't, I can't continue to do this the way we're doing this," was 1 year. It took my wife and I a year to really kind of make sure we were both getting the same signals that this is what we're supposed to do.
Were you praying hard about it?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, well then,
and still am.
okay, that's true. That doesn't, you don't stop there.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I think that if you're doing that every single day,
Yeah.
and praying about it and trying to override the conflicting inside of you because of the society push and pressure.
Yeah.
Like you're getting ready to give up all this to try something, and then as everybody says, how many people are trying the same thing you're trying? Why do you think you're going to be different?
Yeah.
Why do you think yours is going to succeed where others have failed and are
right?
So what was your answer to a question like that? Like what makes you special in this music business?
Well, for me personally, I think that's a great question, and I think it really comes back down to like a totally personal experience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just knew. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I just knew.
I just knew it was love.
Yeah, and there's a few things that I would say because I've you played the God card by talking about praying, so I can say this. But
we played the whole deck here, so it's okay.
Well, I've never heard his voice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I've never heard Morgan Freeman to my Steve Carroll. saying that.
Yeah.
But the big road signs were, number one, I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old. So that means for 6 weeks I was an orphan. Mm-hmm. And that worked out.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
So there's one thing I can
Yes.
go, okay, hey, there's something bigger going on here than me. And then number two, the opportunities that I continued to get in music, even when I was not 100% vested in it, because I was straddling the fence, was another thing. And then the third thing was when my wife and I were able to get on the same page about one thing specifically, and that was, in America, if you're in America, you're in the top 2%.
That's right.
Of the world.
That's right.
And so do I want them to write on my gravestone that he spent however many years moving from, the top 2% to the top 0.5%. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like that just does not, that doesn't resonate with me.
No, I understand that, but that epiphany when it comes, and you've got other people depending on you, does complicate it and make it different. So I want to hear more about your wife, and we're going to have to be going to a break, and I want to know, and if she could call in, that would just be great. You should have had her call in.
I'll make her.
Tell her to call in so I can ask her, what does it take to make that adjustment and decision? And then we'll get the real answers. So everybody hang on. We're going to be back, and hopefully with Kyle, Hutton's wife, of Real Music, Real Life, Real Music, whatever. Okay.
That leads right to your door. Oh, how I used to roam. I was a road.
Howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
The Conroe Art League is a nonprofit entity promoting the visual arts in Montgomery County. They've evolved over the last 49 years into one of the premier artist groups in the greater Houston area. The Conroe Art League is now permanently housed in the 100-year-old recently remodeled Madeley building in historic downtown Conroe. Exhibits of local artists, sculptors, and painters are changed periodically in the downstairs gallery with admission free to the public. Art classes and demonstrations in a variety of media are provided in the upstairs studios. The mission of the Conroe Art League is to encourage artistic development and cultivate an appreciation of the visual arts through education, exhibitions, and community outreach. For more information, call area code 936-756-9572 or visit their website at www.conroeartleague.com.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
I'd burn those beer joints down. That's all changed now. You turned my life around. Oh, I saw the light. I've been baptized by the fire in your touch and the flame in your eyes. I'm born to love again.
And we're back. We're back in the Mark and Cindy show. It is so gorgeous outside. No, it looks like it's about
the
to
Mark,
rain at
Brett,
any time.
Cindy, and Kyle show.
Don't mess me up anymore, Kyle.
morning.
My guest today
And
is
Dick.
Kyle Hutton. I don't try to even say his name at all. Kyle Hutton with Real Life, Real Music.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I got that right. See, the card wasn't turned over, see, and I got it, so I said whatever. I didn't mean that anyway
Yeah,
disparagingly.
right.
You know, I didn't.
I heard some frustration.
No. It's just that, shoot, I want to get at least where he, what his business name is, right? But Kyle is here to talk to us about how he changed his course in life and learned that where he needs to be is where his heart was, and it was in the music, and that's where he decided to go, and whether his wife was going to come along with him or not was maybe a different question, and that was a little frustrating, but it actually did happen. Apparently he got her to decide, and we want to find out about that. We're trying to get a hold of her so that she'll call us. But I got to remind everybody that it was 20 years ago today that the O.J. Simpson white Bronco car chase interrupted the Houston Rockets game that we were all so interested in watching. And I know everybody remembers where they were when they saw that white Bronco, or when they were watching the Houston Rockets trying to do that. Now, Dick, you were only 7 years old at the time, so
Well, we
you
didn't
care.
We didn't have to go to school, or during school they pulled out the TV and everyone was watching it, so I didn't have to go. I didn't do anything.
No, they did not.
I promise you. Yeah.
Wow, that's sad.
That is not the Houston Rockets, but O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. Man,
The Rockets would have been okay.
I was like, that was so funny because I was standing in line in a movie theater and they had a TV screen in the booth, the ticket taker seller. She was watching the show and everybody was kind of gathered around. I was trying to get my ticket and they were watching the game, and then all of a sudden they cut to this shot of a white Bronco going down the freeway, and everybody's going, what is that? What are they doing? What's going on? So mad. They said, it's O.J. Simpson. Who cares? Get it off of it. They were so mad, like screaming at the screen, like, change it back to the Houston Rockets. But anyway, so that happened 20 years ago today. So I just wanted to remind everybody, and if they want to, bake a cake or do something to remember that, that glorious time in our news that we were so ate up with that stuff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know about that. Okay, so it is.
Guess who's calling me?
Okay,
now.
all right.
Okay,
you talk
hold
to
on.
her
I'm
and
gonna
then tell her to call us. Okay.
I need the phone number though.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I know it.
Hey, Tara. I'm on the air right now, and they want to hear your side of the story, so I need you to call into this number. All right? They can probably hear you through the microphone right now. So let me give you a phone number. You ready? Yeah.
So much pressure. Let me
All
get a
this
pencil.
pressure.
Let me get a pencil.
It's 936
647
647
3776.
3776.
Right.
Yep, and go ahead and call in. They're going to patch you in. We're talking about we're talking about when you so willingly submitted to my musical
Don't
dream.
prep her. Don't prep her like that.
All
Let her
right, call in. Bye.
That is
All
great.
right.
So we'll be sitting here talking, and Richard will give us the signal.
Now
and
I'm going to
we'll
get to hear the real story.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is the first time she's ever been piped in on an interview. I'm a little nervous.
No, that's wonderful. And now she's
Mm-hmm.
probably standing there going like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah,
Yes,
she's
she
like,
does.
we've recovered so much since then.
Yeah. Why do you want to break?
Let's pull the scab off the wound.
That's what I do the best. This is so
That's
much
right.
fun. Okay, we got a phone call. I wonder who it could be. And caller. What is your name? Tara, we have been talking about you, and you seem like you're too good to be true. So we have to hear your voice, and we know you in the beginning. Everyone, this is Kyle's wife. Remember, this is Kyle's wife, and she is going to tell us her side of it. But in the beginning, when he told us that he walks through the door, and he tells you he couldn't do this anymore. Did you have any thoughts? Like, are you talking about our marriage? Or are you talking about driving that car? Or what are you talking about?
Well, I actually knew because from the day I met Kyle, I knew his love for music, and it quite honestly scared me because I didn't really know what that would look like. It wasn't a roadmap that I had seen before.
Very good.
And
That's right.
the only roadmap I had seen where music was concerned involved a lot of time away from family and
Right.
traveling and just kind of a scary, unpredictable life. And I was kind of a wanting to be very predictable kind of person at that time. And so it scared me. And I always felt like it felt like a rug that may be pulled at any point. And it wasn't about not trusting Kyle. It was just a fear that I had.
It's the
for
business.
myself.
Yeah, well, and it's the business as well. That there's too many reports on how insecure and then what it does to people, and it makes crazy people out of them, or they get. And your hope is that you want to be so popular that everybody recognizes you until that happens, and then it's like that whole world just eats you up.
Yeah.
Do you believe
Right.
that? You believe
And that
Kyle?
was what I was afraid
I
of.
do. I do
Well,
believe that.
So what turned you around so that you could say, call your parents and say, "Oh, guess what? we're not going to be doing this anymore."
Well,
what turned
at
you?
that time, I don't know how authentic you want me to be, but
She's already
Oh,
played
that-
Tara. She's already played the God card. So whatever you wanna do.
Quite honestly, God used that entire situation to help me heal from things from my past, and so it wasn't this is what Kyle wants to do, yay, let's go do it. It was quite honestly, I kind of dug my heels in on one side, but on the other side, I knew when he came to me and said, "This is, God's calling me to this," that I better listen. I at least better try to figure out what it is that I have so much hesitation about. And so at that time, right before Kyle came to us and said that he had started reaching out to some people, maybe like spiritual type mentors. And
Right.
he was on a path himself. And so I slowly kind of joined that path. And what I realized is that all my fear and anxiety wasn't all about Kyle at all. It was mostly about me and things that had happened in my childhood. And I had some abandonment issues from a father that had chosen drugs and alcohol over my mother and I. And so I think that I was kind of
My
projecting
goodness.
all of those fears and anxieties onto
Sure,
Kyle.
of course.
And so it actually propelled me into my own healing journey from my past and my childhood having nothing to do with music. So that was about a year or a year and a half process and it's not done. There's no finished bow on the package and put up on the shelf, but much healing went on because we were very intentional about it. And,
Hey, did y'all get that
and it
part
was
about
the best
her?
thing that happened.
Did y'all get that part about her projecting stuff on me on tape? Because I'm gonna need to play that back.
Oh, I should have warned you. I should have warned you that we do put this in archives, and so after 12
forever,
o'clock,
Tara.
you're going to be able to listen to this on IR Lone Star or SoundCloud. Let's send her to SoundCloud. SoundCloud.
It's going to be on irlonestar.com.
It's going to
too.
be on IR Lone Star also. But if you want to go to SoundCloud.com, it's just easier. I don't know why to say that name. SoundCloud.com.
Well, see, she said it, so I'm glad we got her on the phone because she said it so succinctly and to the point.
I'm telling you, you said, now she's never really said this in an interview or anything,
Yeah,
and it
that was
looks like
perfect,
she
wasn't
has
it?
done this like, okay, it's ABC now. Okay, I mean, I've done NBC and I've done
right.
CBS. Now let's see. Okay, I'm doing IR Lone Star Radio. Okay, so what happened? You know, so you have it down. It's good, girl. You know, and what you just said was, boy, you married someone very mature and someone that could think things through and that could open their brain up. And maybe not all at one time, but she did that
Sure.
for you because she loves you so much. But I think more importantly, you probably love God even more. And you reached
Right.
out to him and let him lead the way. So if you feel that calling, and it's true, it's not like, you know, you hear a knock at the door in your head and say, oh, Kyle, I think it's time for you to go into music, and you may not recognize this voice, but it's the voice of God. And but you feel that everything, that the opportunities they're opening up, and you're praying all along that way. That's what I think is great, is as you pray along the way, and the opportunities keep opening up. You got to put those two together. God thinks you're smart enough to connect those dots, and that He's saying, okay, but if you mess up, which you always have that chance, you know, to do. That's why it's never over, because it's always, you know, because, you know, Satan is really wanting to get a hold of your talent and everything that you're doing and take it in the wrong direction and ruin the family and everything else, because evil delights in that. So I think that it's great that you guys are, to me, on the same page as praying about it. That's the big page to get on together, I think.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, I only get one time around on this deal, and the stakes are high, and because he's you know, allowed me to be in relationships with people like Tara and now our kids.
You're
and,
so
you know what I
lucky.
mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, it's
and 3 boys.
It's a big deal. Yeah,
3 boys.
Three
That's
boys.
so
Where are they now?
amazing.
Why is it so quiet? Why is it so quiet in
One
the
of them's
car?
in the car.
Oh, he's being very good.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, you know, I'm just sitting here kind of thinking about all of that. And I think that we tend to think that, you know, oh, we don't see eye to eye in our marriages or in our relationships or, you know, whatever. And that's true. And I think it's the whole design, because I mean, I don't know that I would have ever kind of come to my own healing, if you will, about my past and my childhood and my hurts if Kyle hadn't kind of been the catalyst for that and his desire. And so I think, and you know, I hope I remember this when other big things come up, that God will use that. And instead of just saying, okay, we're not compatible, let's just run away from this. I don't want that. You want that. We're not the same. Like looking, instead of pointing our finger at the other person, just looking back at ourselves and saying, okay, what are you trying to teach me here? How do you want to grow me? And I'm so thankful. I don't feel like I had the power or the wisdom or anything at that time to be able to say I did that on my own, because I'm just as selfish as everybody else, and I want what I want.
Well,
so I'm really thankful that God must have done something there, because
He must have, because it is amazing, because so many women, which women are normally, I mean, it's very generalizing, but they're looking for the security. And so you met someone and you met someone like Kyle, and there he was, and the security that you put in him, you find out it was misplaced. It should have been first, you know, like it should have been all in God. And then what Kyle did in compliance with what God was looking for was like, okay. But I do the same thing. As like my husband says, I think I'm going to go ahead and retire. I go, wait, whoa, you want to retire? Everything's going so well now. Why do you want to? Whatever? And because, but that's not where, you know, the security should be in is that. So, and him to be able to do something that gives him joy, that he must bring that joy home, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm actually sitting here thinking, okay, if all of this, you know, hearing both of you ladies talk about how well or how good risk taking is for you, then I'm just going to elevate my risk taking.
I'm sorry.
I heard her say that really all my security is not in you.
Yeah.
It's in God. So
Got it.
I guess I better just keep praying harder.
Yeah.
Just hang on and pray harder.
That's right. There you go. That's all you can do. That's about it. That's about it.
Whereas we're the King of Queens had a story on that show. I don't know if you ever watched that show or not, but
Yeah.
Kevin James is saying that God told him to do this, and she's saying, no, God told me it was fine to buy these shoes and buy any shoes that I want. So
I love it.
And they compete on what God's really telling them. But I know that what he opens up and how your life is improved and all that shows you that you've gone the right way. And so I'm excited for you guys. And Tara, what a great story you have. I hope you're speaking in front of...
I'm glad I have it.
You should be
It is who I-
speaking...
It is part of who I am. And
Sure, and you should be speaking in
it
front of...
wasn't fun, and
people.
it didn't look pretty as I was going through it. It sounds nice and pretty now.
Right.
But it wasn't pretty then. And I think that's really important to tell. And when you tell your story, because I think it's easy when someone's in the pit
Right.
to look at someone that is, I have pits. I still go into pits.
Well, of course.
I've been in a pit over the past few weeks, but you can't compare yourself in the pit to someone who's maybe climbed out of one pit and is in between pits.
Right. Is in between pits.
Hey, speaking
And
of
if
pits,
you're wondering, we're talking to Tara Hutton, Kyle Hutton, who owns Real Life, Real Music, and has made a big change in his life. And of course, Lyson, we're in his life made a change, of course. And so we're talking to his wife on how in the world she ever came around to decide to go along with him. And it's a great testimony to Kyle in his persuasiveness, and Tara in her openness, and in God in blessing it. But and when you get into those deep abyss pits, those ones that you feel like I'll never crawl out of, and that big old shiny hand comes down and lifts you out of that and says, it's okay, baby, I'm with you, I got you, and surrounds you with that kind of love. You feel good. And that spreading that to a lot of people, it may be a new idea, and what we're learning is learn something new every day. And every time that you tell that story, you probably learn something new. Every time you go through this kind of discussion on things that you feel like, well, I'm better. I'm really better than I was back then. I'm so glad that we're here.
Right.
there's no doubt.
So Tara,
Absolutely.
listen, we've got to go to a break, and I am so happy that he got a hold of you and you called in. We may have to just have Tara on. I'm sorry.
I think
may
you
have
should.
to have her on
I
and just talk
absolutely
about
think
things.
you should.
That's-
You should. I'm telling
Thank
you.
I would love to meet you. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
That was quite fun for me.
Good. We have a fun rest of the day, and give those babies a hug from me. 3 boys. Wow.
I
that's
will
awesome.
absolutely. Have a super day.
Congratulations. Okay.
See ya.
Bye-bye. How precious. Okay, we're getting ready to go to a break, and we'll be right back with Kyle Hutton and talk more about his actual music. Okay?
on.
All right. You're with the Mark and Cindy Show. We'll be right back.
Baptized by the fire in your touch and the flame.
Tri-County Services provides services to children and adults with mental illnesses, substance abuse disorders, and intellectual developmental disabilities in Montgomery, Liberty, and Walker counties. Offices are located in Conroe, Cleveland, Liberty, and Huntsville. Some mental health services offer focus on resilience and recovery. Services and supports for individuals with intellectual development disabilities focus on skill development and independence. Tri-County Services offers 24/7 crisis intervention and evaluation with Crisis Hotline 1-800-659-6994, and their mobile crisis outreach team. Psychiatric crisis treatment is available at Psychiatric Emergency Treatment Center in Conroe. Substance abuse services include treatment for both youth and adults. Substance abuse prevention classes are also provided for younger children and teenagers. Peer support services for veterans are also offered by Tri-County Services. For more information about all programs provided by Tri-County Services, call 936-521-6100 or visit our website at www.tricountyservices.org.
You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio now for your daily weather report. Today is Thursday, May 15th, 2014. Today's weather forecast will be mostly sunny with a high near 77. And later tonight will be mostly clear with a low around 51.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Donalwick Public Relations. You've seen the billboards. That's right, Wicked Publicity. Contact them today at 832-326-1965 and visit wickedpublicity.com.
Tune in at 3 o'clock every Wednesday for Aperture and Shutter Speed with me, Tom Moore of TR Moore Photos.
And me, Dick.
If you are an amateur or expert, or if you haven't ever picked up an SLR camera before, Aperture and Shutter Speed is a show for anyone who loves photography and film.
Join the conversation with us by calling in or emailing us your questions. If you want to know what's coming up on Aperture and Shutter Speed, just look up our show page on irlonestar.com or look us up on Facebook.
Join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. for Aperture and Shutter Speed, and remember,
Take your lens cap off.
And we're back on the Mark and Cindy Show. And remember, Mark will be back Monday. Mark has been not on hiatus. I love that word. But he's been doing his little project.
Colonoscopy?
No, he hasn't had a procedure. He's had a... well, I don't know. It depends on what this project is like. It may have felt like that. But anyway, I want to tell you that Mark will be back. And Mark, you've been missed. I know he's listening to and hanging on every word, and I'm surprised he hasn't called in yet. But we're so thankful for the guest we have today is Kyle Hutton with Real Life, Real Music, and we have enjoyed him. But more than that, his wife. We got his wife to call in because he made this big change in his life from being in an insurance compliance department of a big corporate place, and then he changed and said, I'm going to go with the music I love, and he's been doing all his life. So the music, you are a singer-songwriter.
I am.
And how long have you been doing that? Forever?
I wrote my first, official song that I performed in front of people when I was a sophomore in college.
A sophomore in college, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's folksy, is it country?
I would say that the music definitely is in that Texas-centric kind of genre. And the good thing about Texas music is it spans everything from folk to blues
rock,
to country to rock. So
right.
I would say I was a product of definitely the Garth Brooks, George Strait kind of camp early on, and so my first couple of records definitely feel a little bit more of that, and then my last couple of records are a little more like what it is when I write the song, but still, very, very much produced. And we're in the process of selecting songs for our next project, which
You're in the
which
studio,
really,
or you've already done the songs?
I've got about 30 songs. I've got to whittle it
you are
down.
prolific.
Well, you hadn't heard them yet. I appreciate that thought. If volume indicates being prolific, then yeah. But so we'll whittle that down to 10 to 12 songs and go in and go do the next project, which I anticipate will be even more acoustic and more, kind of organic than anything we've ever done. Yeah.
Do you sing with an accent?
I do.
You do?
I do. What I do,
do the guttural sound that a lot of the country western, singers do?
You'll hear a lot less of that than if you went back and found like an old video of me singing Garth Brooks songs at a 3-hour Carl's Barbecue gig back in 1993 or something.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a website, Facebook?
I do.
You like people to go to?
Yeah. I mean, all the standard, KyleHutton.com.
That's
I'm
Kyle.
on Facebook. Yeah.
Kyle Hutton, KyleHutton.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, KyleHutton.com. And what about Facebook? It's just Kyle Hutton?
Just Kyle Hutton. You probably find it.
Is it a fan page or is it a
There's one
personal?
of each. Yeah,
there is. Okay.
There's one of each.
Okay, because I didn't know, I really liked this artist or something, and I clicked on. I went, oh, Facebook, oh, that's great, and then I realized, wait a minute, and then your phone's going off like 50 jillion times because it's a fan page, and all these people, everybody that says something, you're going to hear about it too.
Got to turn those notifications off.
But I can just feel you're just more personable kind of guy that you'd like to really want to talk to the fans and really want to get to know them and that kind of thing. And now, are you performing anywhere coming up?
We let's see, my next show is a really cool one. The owner of Do-Si Do, just because he knows my story, asked me if I would come in and open for the guy that's really one of the reasons that I picked up the guitar in the first place, and that's Radney Foster. And so
My
we'll be doing a
word.
show together on July the 11th, I believe, which
July
is a
11th?
Friday.
It is.
Over
It
at
is.
the
Yeah, we
Do-si-do
needed to make sure.
Big Barn.
The Big
And-
Barn, Do-si-do.
And he just released a new record, and so I'm very honored to be there and be a part of that night
How
with Radney.
exciting!
Yes,
that
definitely.
is so cool. I mean, just think way back when you did start, and think I'm going to be opening for this guy
Yeah,
one day.
the first big opportunity that I had was an open mic at the place where Robert Earl Keen and Lyle Lovett got their start in College Station. I think it was called the Front Porch Cafe, and you got to come in and do 10 songs. So there were like three
Good
bands.
grief, 10
yeah,
songs.
Yeah,
That's-
well, there were
that's
three
great.
bands a night. So it wasn't an official like gig.
Uh-huh.
It was a open
Showcase
band session
time?
or
Yeah.
something, and we got to come in and do this deal. And 20%, of my set list, so two of my songs were Radney Foster songs at that first gig. So I've been a fan,
Now, have you
forever.
talked to him yet?
I have.
Okay.
Just being out there,
Mm-hmm.
I would get on the bill at a festival or whatever that he would be on, and so I got to meet him, and he's been very gracious to me. We kind of moved from being from him being, I don't know, like this
celebrity
distant
you're in
star
awe
to
of,
more of a mentor, and we've had the opportunity to write some songs together and stuff like that.
how-
So it's been great.
That's
It's
very
been awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, the festival, is that what you're talking about?
No,
There's
that's a Do-si-do show. But this weekend,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, because real life, real music. Going back to the fact that it's much bigger than just me out there playing my songs, which to me is like the biggest compliment. Because all of this started for me as a fan. As a kid. And sometimes music would say what I was feeling before I even understood it, and so the song would help me understand how I was feeling.
I understand that, yeah.
And so that's why I started writing songs, and that's why I get inspired by music, and so the fact that real life, real music kind of has some legs of its own, where you've got other people that love music and are involved in music and want to be a part of it that are coming around it, and we got contacted by the Magnolia Community Foundation about 7 months ago, probably 8 months ago. And they asked us if they could partner with the Real Life, Real Music brand for their upcoming festival. And so,
what a compliment.
So in the city of Magnolia this weekend, we've got a 3-day festival, and it benefits the Magnolia Community Foundation, which basically disperses monies amongst the charities that support children in Montgomery, in the Magnolia area. Okay, so
that's great.
So it is a nonprofit fundraiser. The music and it's more than just music. Do you remember? Like I remember when I lived in Katy, Texas. I remember we would show up on 4th of July or at other special occasions, and there'd be the parades where dads were driving their tractors, pulling their kids in wagons down the street with American flags,
Yes,
and
that's what happens.
like old town, old town
USA,
home kind
yeah.
of stuff. And when I sat down with the board of this of the Magnolia Community Foundation, it's like we were all on the same page about what we wanted to create for our city, because I live in Magnolia. Our business operates out of Magnolia. And it's like, okay, look, it's a music, music's always part of a festival in Texas.
Sure.
But we're talking carnival, cotton candy,
Oh man, it's gonna be like a fair.
It is.
Oh,
It really is.
that's
So
awesome.
there's a carnival. There's all kinds of food vendors and craft vendors. There's a group called Doc Dogs, which is kind of like the X Games for dogs, where we'll have a 25,000 gallon pool out there at Unity Park in Magnolia, and these dogs do tricks and jump off piers and all this kind of stuff. So it's crazy, but there's all kinds of cool
Activities,
stuff.
oh.
And I think a lot of times, there's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think music festivals can automatically get thrown into that category of non-family friendly.
Yes, you're right.
They
You're
can.
Right. You're right.
And that is not the case with this event. Now, there are adult beverages that will be for sale. There is music that's going to start at 7 o'clock on Friday night, music that starts at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. There's a Cowboy Church service on Sunday, followed by
that's great.
Grammy winner Rick Trevino is going to perform on the main stage on Sunday. Let's see, the Friday lineup, we've got local duo. They're just back from another trip to Nashville, Sibling Rivalry. Then we've got Mark Jones and 20 Paces, who just put out an amazing new record. And then we've got Jesse Robb Jr., who traditional country, just a great performer. He'll be Friday night as the headliner. And then Saturday we've got Lincoln Durham, Folk Family Revival, who's a local group that's amazing.
Yes.
And then we've got headlining that evening Uncle Lucius, who's one of the, fastest growing bands around. So the music's going to be great. The carnival,
activities.
The family stuff, it's all going to be great.
Really, in Montgomery County, from the Woodlands, to Magnolia or whatever, we can't believe how every time you do something that the family can come to, you get overwhelmed with numbers, because people want to have something they can bring their kids to, and it's going to be fun and everybody can do together, and that makes it perfect, because you've got the music, and then you have this carnival like fair going on, and the kids come through, and it's going to be fun for everybody.
Absolutely.
And Magnolia is gorgeous too. So
yep. Well, and the other thing is too, like one of the things with Real Life Real Music is always looking for ways to engage up and coming people that are working on their craft. And we've got the Do-Si-Do K-Star community stage, because we've got the main stage that's provided by Bud Light, and then we've got the community stage that's sponsored by Do-Si-Do and K-Star.
I love that.
And they are we'll have a lineup on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of students in the local area that are working on their craft as singer-songwriters. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. It's going to be a really, really cool event.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and I see also that you do light up when you talk about this stuff. Yeah. And so I can see why your wife probably, came over to your side and said, you know what, I want to keep him happy, because if he's happy, then I'm happy. And it's going to be like that. Should be the other way around. But otherwise, I think this is great the way y'all found this route. And it is, and it's a real good testimony, and I appreciate that, and I feel like God's going to just really bless this just because of the way that you guys have gone about it. But that you're going to bring this to the community, and the community is just hungry for their own people to be recognized, and that's what you try and do with your music. And you've got a studio as well.
We do.
Magnolia.
I am a partner in a studio in Magnolia, Red Tree Recording Studios. And just, because you'll recognize some of the local folks. I mean, Jeff Armstreet and the people over at Magnolia Red are producing. They've produced all the Folk Family Revival records, the Mark Jones record that just came out, the last Scooter Brown Band record. Radney Foster's done work out of there. Lloyd Maines has done work out of there. So we've got a very cool place over there for people in the community to come hang out and work.
we may come and audition you and see if you've got everything we need to do a new theme song, because it's almost been a year with our theme song, and so we may need to do something with that, and we'll just see if you're good enough to do it, and I'll just let everybody know. No,
hey, I'll write it up, but you can just know that it's going to include the line, "Let's see if she'll remember your name."
Ouch! Ouch! That was so.
I love it. Name rhymes with a lot of stuff, so that one's real easy.
Yeah, it is, Fred. So anyway, this is gonna be fun. And you guys be sure to remember the festival. They'll be in Magnolia this weekend.
Unity Park is where we're
Unity
having
Park,
it.
okay.
Yep. MagnoliaSummerfest.com if you want to see the schedule.
I bet you drive into Magnolia, it's going to be easy to find.
It's right by the junior high school, at the middle school.
Yep.
Right. And we do have listeners in Massachusetts and up in the UK. And so anybody that wants to just go on down 45 and just keep on going until you see back.
1488 right there.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much, Kyle, for being with us. And always at the end, we end with an encouraging word. And I think a lot of what we talked about today is very encouraging. In fact,
can I do it?
Can I
do it?
Do you want to do
the
I want to
end with the encouraging word.
Okay.
I was over.
This is great.
Listen, I was over at Conroe Coffee just next door.
Yes.
Okay. And one of my favorite guys on the planet for quotes is Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And here's the encouraging, at least Kyle's encouraging word of the day: believe you can, and you're halfway there.
Amen, brother. Preach it. That's right. No, that is so true. Just believe that you can.
I took a picture of that and Instagrammed it because I wanted to
you can put it on your Facebook?
That. It is. It's already there.
All right. Go to Kyle Hutton.
Kyle
Hutton. Just go to Kyle Hutton. And there's probably not more than 50 Kyle Hutton. So,
Probably not.
go through, and he's in Magnolia.
There's a professional soccer player from the UK, Kyle Hutton.
Oh,
but
great.
I'm not him.
That's not
So-
him. No. This guy wears a raggedy hat. He's very in and cool. And anyway, but that's true, and that's always about believing is you get yourself halfway there. But there's a greater place to go to, and that you can read about who you are and who you should be and how you can get that way is through the Bible, so that there's someone out there always wanting to help you, and that is God. And if you believe, He's right there with you. He doesn't hold a gun to your head and say, "You better believe in me. You better do exactly what I say." He gives you total free choice, and that's what Kyle took. He took that free choice, but he made sure he checked in with God that was going to be the right way to go, and it's been great for him. And it can be for you as well, and it was for me. I did the same thing, and I just want all of our listeners to be happy and know that there's someone that loves them more than we can, and that's God. So we always want to remind everybody that you're going to this show will be on SoundCloud.com. If you missed any of it, Kyle or his wife, you missed the phone conversation with his wife, be sure and go back and check that out in our archives. Mark will be back Monday. Tomorrow we'll have the best of, and that will be a surprise. So we'll let you in on that as soon as we can. But it's going to be a great movie weekend, and so be sure and look for all the good movies, and you can take your three boys to go see the Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon 2. And so there are a lot of good things coming out, but most importantly is Sunday. Go to church Sunday. Your mama wants you in church, and it's Father's Day Sunday, so be sure and appreciate your dad.
She actually wants you at the Cowboy Church service at the Magnolia Summerfest.
Who does?
Your mom.
That's right.
At
You
the
know, that's right.
Cowboy
That's right. The
Church
Cowboy
service.
Church is going to be there.
That's right.
It's going to be
Come on
huge.
out.
I do want to go to one of those. I want to go to one of their services. I'm so
know.
curious to walk in that door and see if I don't have boots on. It's okay. You'll let me in. And so I am curious about that.
You just got to wear those sunglasses.
I got to wear these sunglasses.
That's
Listen,
right.
everybody that's going to watch this on YouTube, you're going to get to see these right here. Everybody, look. Just look. Is that cool? Is that cool? It's so cool.
Those are cool.
Okay. Anyway, so guys, have a great weekend. And Kyle, thank you again so much for being here.
Thanks for what you do.
All right. We will see you Monday. God's got it.
It's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.